Oh my god, 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 oh my god.
All right.
Just, oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached it. The final episode of the third Steven bomb, Friendship.
Is magic.
Yes. God damn it. I said yes. Like I said last part, Danny unfortunately can't join us right now. She lost, so it'll just be Kenshi and I for the time being. Like we also said, if you really do want to hear Danny's thoughts, we will have we can ask her to record a separate video, or even like to have her post her thoughts at the end, just separately. We'll see how it works.
Yeah.
In any which case, so Friendship, kind of the semi-conclusion to this overall plot between Garnet and Pearl. Wouldn't say it's completely over yet, but it's a start.
I'd say it's a pretty strong conclusion to the major arc itself. It's just that we're still going to see a little bit of the aftermath, like the complete fallout, because for the most part we've been living in the blast radius, and now we're just at the point where it's just a bunch of dust.
Yes, so anyway, the episode synopsis. The episode actually begins with Peridot, of all people. She's at the space warp, trying to repair some of the warp paths so she can, in a desperate attempt to get off the planet. But the crystal gems intercept her there, and they try capturing her. Unfortunately, they don't do too well. Unfortunately, because of Pearl. And it's really because Pearl's trying so hard to capture Peridot in order to get Garnet to forgive her. That's pretty much what leads to their downfall.
Because Pearl's trying so hard, she's getting literally in everyone's way.
Yeah, she's interrupting everybody. She's trying to be over enthusiastic. This is really just a part of her own anxieties.
She's got tunnel vision for catching Peridot to the point to where she literally has no awareness of anyone else in the room.
Yeah, and well, that's really detrimental to the team, and that upsets Garnet. That does upset Garnet even more. I understand why she's doing it. But
everyone does.
It's just the wrong way.
It's having the opposite. It's having the exact opposite effect of what she wants it to do.
Yeah. So Peridot does end up getting away, and the gems return, and we find out Pearl apparently hooked up the Peridot's escape pod to the warp pad to track Peridot. So whenever Peridot does use a warp panel, it'll tell the gems exactly where she is.
Well, it's just good because it shows that they're learning the more advanced gem tech fairly quickly in order to set this kind of stuff up. Heck, the fact that she even repaired Peridot's pod is a step in the right direction.
Yeah. So they track. So of course they immediately find Peridot again, and they track her down to what is apparently a broken down gem spacecraft, which was used before the warp pads were even created. So
it's the first contact type ship and it's obviously a saucer because ancient aliens.
Yeah. So Pearl does briefly explain this to Steven just to give him a quick little history lesson. Of course, Garnet just wants to get it over with. They're assuming that Peridot's trying to use the ship to get off planet, but once they get inside, they have a bit of a horrible realization that no, Peridot's actually trying to use the ship to trap them and kill them. There was a funny little interlude between them that makes fun of just internet speak in general, because Peridot's talking to them through a kind of rundown communication center of the ship from within the ship itself, but there's audio delay whenever Steven speaks to her, we hear his voice a few seconds later on her end.
Yeah.
So of course, Peridot setting all these traps for them. First, what was the first trap? The first trap
was just lasers.
Yeah, lasers. Steven's actually, it does show that Steven is really getting more in depth with his shield.
Because he's summoning that shield and in multiple sizes this episode.
Yeah, and they even bring that up, how he's really on a roll. He's really learning how to use the shield and at will, more properly. But it does appear to be wearing him out too. So, which I found interesting. But of course, they're running through the ship, avoiding various traps, and it gets to a point where they fall into a pitfall. But Amethyst manages to catch herself and Steven, but leaves Garnet and Pearl to fall into the pit and get trapped into a locked room.
Yep.
Now, Amethyst and Steven initially thought, this might actually be a good time for them to talk this through. But unfortunately, the walls and ceilings are caving in on them, so they don't.
It's your typical crusher trap.
Yeah. So, while they're being crushed, though, Pearl is trying to talk to Garnet. She's trying to say, I thought, like if I caught Peridot, it'd be a way for you'd forgive me. It'd be a way to redeem myself. And Garnet is just straight up, no, that's not going to do it. You lied to me. You deceived me. It's going to take a lot more than it. Like I can't forgive you on this. And
then we have what is easily the point that everyone kind of understood with the first episodes, with the whole reason she was doing what she did in the first episode, along with more confirmation that crystal gems are mass-produced. She goes on about how being sardonyx makes her feel like she could be like Garnet, because she can't be like Garnet. She's just a pearl. She has, without direction, she has nothing in her own mind. And that's why she wanted to be sardonyx, because she doesn't feel like she can do anything without someone guiding her destiny.
It unfortunately does lead to more showing of Pearl's own anxieties. Like she very much like she's very what's the dependent word? Was it codependent or?
Yeah, she's group dependent.
Yeah, that's it.
Steven is the one that's codependent, and Amethyst is counterdependent.
Yeah, so for the most part, Pearl literally just admits like she needs people to tell her what to do. She doesn't know how to do things on her own. And it's really sad to see.
But it definitely shows a lot of the gem society for her to mention this and mention being a pearl, not just Pearl.
Well, that's also what I am curious about. Like, is it because of what she is? Does she have these anxieties because she is a pearl? Like, are pearls truly just these mass-produced spawns or pawns, I should say, that are only created to be told what to do?
It would make sense if pearls were naturally, like, in a sense, handmaidens. With the fact that she worshipped and stood at Rose's side, and the fact that she's obviously not the strongest fighter. In fact, that's something she projected onto Connie as well, that they underestimate you for your size and strength. And obviously Pearl is nowhere near as built as, say, Jasper or Garnet as a fighter. So it's likely if gems have a natural role among their designs, pearls are likely to be similar to handmaidens or butlers, probably people who serve the highest class in order to help be able to just do whatever they do.
Yeah, so in any which case, Amethyst and Steven manage to stop the gears temporarily from crushing them, and this does give Garnet and Pearl a little more time to be able to talk it through. Garnet tells her, I can't forgive you on this. What you did actually, it tormented me. It caused me to split up. Ruby and Sapphire were fighting over this, and, Pearl was freaked out by that. Amethyst was like, whoa, really? And Steven was like, yeah, that happened. And, pretty much, Garnet also admitted, I can't be strong all the time. There are times where I need to look up to you as well. And, eventually, Amethyst and Steven are unable to stop the gears any longer. So that Pearl and Garnet are pretty much given no choice but to turn back into sardonyx to break out.
Yeah, that was something. I suppose this week ended with sardonyx. It didn't have a whole lot of her in the middle, but,
Well, regardless of such, they only turned into sardonyx to, break out of the prison. And sardonyx wasn't there at all. She didn't say a single word. It was like she sardonyx almost looked borderline disgusted too. Like when she broke out, she immediately broke back up, and then Pearl and Garnet they just looked at each other, and I could tell they feel a little better about what's going on, but there's still some tension. But regardless of such, of course, right afterwards, now they gotta go find Peridot.
And they do.
Yeah, Peridot, Peridot herself, she's trying to work this rundown ship, trying to figure out where the crystal gems are, what happened to them, trying to kill them and trap them. But but the crystal gems find her, and of course, Peridot's first reaction is run. So she blows a hole in the ceiling and tries to fly away. But Steven grabs her, Amethyst grabs Steven, Pearl grabs Amethyst, and Garnet grabs the end. And they're trying to pull her down, And Peridot does the most desperate thing, which I found the most hilarious thing that I've ever seen, and actually cuts off her own foot that Steven was holding onto in order to get away.
Yeah, which is interesting because this would mean Peridot's probably a bit more solid than other gems, given that she could have just shapeshifted out of the way. So it does make me wonder if newer gems have lost the ability to shapeshift.
Well, I'm also going to speculate that because we can also assume that, Peridot mostly relies on science more than magic. And there are people that are speculating that the what appear to be the more robotic-looking parts of Peridot may be more so an armor that she's actually wearing as opposed to her actual body.
That would make some sense. Possibly she is just a gem-powered armor suit.
Because when she cut off her foot, it was smoking. People may speculate that it was smoking because she used a laser to do so it was probably just charred. But I think that's machine.
Yeah,
so.
Because all the other gems, they could have shapeshifted, or if they had broken off a part of themselves, it would have just vaporized into light energy. Because the others don't take damage without basically reverting back to their gem state.
Which is also why we've mostly seen we even saw Peridot do a few new things in this episode. She was able to turn her arm and fingers into a type of cannon, like a laser cannon.
Apparently, that's a new upgrade too, because she didn't know how strong it was when she fired it the first time.
Yeah, but we've yet to see her actually pull anything out of her gem. So as far as I'm figuring at this point, her arms and legs are probably just machinery, and she may just be this. She may be smaller than Ruby and Sapphire.
That might actually be true.
With a really big head.
Or she actually, because of the fact that they can shapeshift, she literally has only made a head, so she could just power the suit.
That'd be some shit. But in which case, Peridot does escape, and of course they fucking end the episode on a foot pun. We'll be one step ahead of her.
Yeah, because she only takes one step at a time.
And they do have a little chuckle moment. Garnet and Pearl will end to laugh together over that. And Amethyst's only reaction to that is just lying down and saying, "Finally, things are getting back to normal."
And she has kitty face at the very end.
Yeah, Amethyst is just happy that things are starting to lighten up again.
Yeah.
So like we said, things are getting better, but I can tell they're not completely better yet. There's still going to be some tensions. But it was definitely a good step in the right direction. But in any which case, Also, I will be very upset if when we see Peridot the next time, she better have a fucking peg leg. She better be Peridot. She better be Peridot the pirate next time we see her.
Peridot?
The pirate.
Yeah. Pyrodot?
Pyrodot, yes, exactly.
Pyrodot.
But overall, so I guess final thoughts.
This was a good way to end the arc itself. It didn't feel quite like a bomb, though. The first episode was a bomb. In the last two Steven bombs, it's usually the last episode that feels like a big bomb.
I think it's also mostly it is. I think this is a setup to something that's going to happen. Because Peridot, we saw a lot of Peridot mostly. In the first episode and the last episode. But it's clear she's desperate to get off this planet, and eventually she's probably going to do something that's going to attract trouble.
Now, here's something that we didn't talk about, and I don't know if a lot of people really paid attention to this line. She brought up, this planet has an expiration date. What?
Yeah,
the fuck?
I remember that.
But it's no one I know of really paid attention to that line, but it's planets have an expiration date? Wait, what?
I think it's less that the planet is just gonna die.
No.
And more that it's more than likely this planet. She's referring to there's a manufacturing time that or schedule for this planet that needs to be upheld.
No. You can't do that, BJ, because that's not what she meant, and that's not what she implied. She said, this planet has an expiration date, and I don't want to be around for it. That's not about a schedule. If there was about a schedule that needed to be upheld, she'd be trying to rebuild kindergarten and want to be staying on the planet to uphold that schedule. She wants off of this damn planet, and there's a very good, scary reason for it.
What are the odds that Miss Yellow Diamond, who we've only heard of briefly, what are the odds that if she probably is aware. Obviously, at this point, she's more than likely aware that Peridot and Jasper's missions failed. And what if she may just be coming to blow up the planets because it's like
I have two theories. The first one is that Kindergarten's damage has had a long-term effect on the Earth, and for all of Rose Quartz's efforts, it's still going to. There's still the potential that it could die due to the injuries that Kindergarten laid waste to on the planet. Or it's possible she's aware of what Malachite can do, and she's aware that with Lapis's power of water, she could destroy the entire planet.
I suppose. Either way, we got some kind of foreshadowing that says
shit's gonna get real.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But
yeah.
I think for the most part that does about do it for FriendShip. And I do get the pun where it says friend. Like obviously FriendShip, and for one thing, implying the friendship between Garnet and Pearl, and then the gems in general. And then it takes place on a ship. So
it takes a place on a ship full of friends.
The puns are real. And of course, this is probably also people trying to continue their Pearlnet shipping.
Yeah. Oh, and I feel like Peridot is an embodiment of like the modern child trying to play anything that isn't a touchscreen.
Oh God, yeah.
Notice how she constantly bitches about old technology and how much, and all of the technology she's ever had is basically touchscreens, holographic touchscreens.
God. Oh well, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that.
Yep.
But that about does it for this week. It's a shame Danny couldn't finish it with us. Like we said, if you do want to hear Danny's final thoughts, I'll ask Danny to record just a separate video for her thoughts only. She'll record it herself. But yeah, that pretty much does it. So overall, like, if you didn't see the episodes, if you haven't even seen Steven Universe, please go give the show a shot. It's great. And yeah, that about does it for Steven Bomb. So I guess was there a confirmation if the show was going to continue weekly again, or are we going to have to wait for a fourth Steven Bomb?
I have not seen anything about that, as far as I know. And given the way, I honestly wonder if Steven Bombs or how the show's going to move forward, because this season had 2 already, and it's not even at the halfway point.
The last one was in May or June. Wasn't it June?
I think so. Early June.
Well, actually, that's interesting though, because like that's actually very sneaky. Come to think of it, because think about it. One thing, if they would only do 1 episode a week, they'd only get 4 months. Technically, so far they're getting 5 a month now.
Yes.
That's sneaky.
And it's also a great way to keep the audience interest, because then you release these big swaths. And given the fact that, from what I heard, by the end of season 1, they were at least signed for 3 seasons of episodes with at least 50-some in each season, this is going to be an interesting turnout, because I'm interested in how this story will unfold, because it's very clear that even the filler episodes are going to explain something.
Yeah. So as far as we can count, let's hope that they keep doing this, and that there's a new Steven Bomb every month. So then we can get 5 episodes a month. Then we'd have to wait 3 weeks in between each. I'm fine with that. For a new episode every day.
Yeah, because you need about 3 weeks to collect your brain off the goddamn wall.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just wait and see what happens. Let's hope for more. Let's hope for once a month Steven Bombs.
Or at least active Stevening.
Yeah, either way. All right. That about does it.
Yep.
This was the SpiffyNeedleGeeks. So we will see. Or I guess right now SpiffyNeedleGeek plus Kenshi.
Hey, I guess you could say you can at least see the Steven Universe geeks, because we're both geeks.
SpiffyNeedleGuest.
Hey, at least I stay within the letters.
All right, we'll catch you all later.
Take care, people.